All right, welcome on in. It's WrestleChats yet again with Ray and Sharpy. Welcome on in. Ray, how are you, mate? All right?
I'm fantastic, brother. How are you?
Good. I'm a big nerd holding the big World Heavyweight Championship yet again. I can't help it. I've got them sitting here.
They're fantastic, dude.
I've got to hold them.
If you got it, show it. Why not? Get it out there.
Definitely not compensating. Welcome on in, guys. Doing a bit of a random pod today. We've just got some topics that we'd like to cover. We've done some structured ones before about some pay-per-views and stuff like that, but we just have a few different sort of things that we want to talk about. We want to get your opinion on the things that we're talking about as well. And we'll start with the main one at the moment is the Wyatt 6.
WrestleChats with Sharpy and Ray.
This is one that I actually have been wondering about the last couple of weeks with the Wyatt 6 that's come in. Now, we all know the backstory of the Wyatt 6, which is basically feeding off of Bray Wyatt, because Bray Wyatt's brother, Bo Dallas, has come in to do his thing with the Wyatt 6. For the first couple of weeks there, we saw the hidden videos and all of the guys coming out to the ring, which is, to describe it, I think in one word, was just creepy. I don't know about you guys, and I don't know about you, Sharpy, but that's the only way I could describe it, was creepy. There was some videos that came out, which was just like, was that allowed for, like, you know, young kids to be watching these types of things?
Yeah.
So then my question to you is, now that we've gone from these creepy videos to the actual debut of the Wyatt 6, we've seen Bo Dallas get into the ring. We've seen, help me out here, mate.
Eric Rowan.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And
Dexter Loomis,
which is great. I always thought Loomis didn't get much of a push as what he should have got. So to see him in the Wyatt 6 is actually fantastic. Nikki Cross, well, she already did her superhero thing. We all know that she is definitely a superstar. So to see her in this new role is fantastic.
Yeah, it gives
and
us
then
something
the
else to do.
new S guy that they've brought up out of NXT is that guy.
That guy.
That guy that wears the pig mask, but he was fantastic in NXT as well.
Yeah.
I'm quite sure you guys know what his name is. Please help us out in the comments below. It might come to us a little bit later on if we did some more research. Maybe it will. So my question to you is, Sharpy, getting away from what I was just saying, is how do you think the debut of in-the-ring work of the Wyatt 6 is going right now? Obviously, seeing them go up against Chad Gable, who's just selling, who's just an absolute master of what his craft is, to see them up against American Made. Do you think that all the hype that they've had coming in matches what they've actually done in the ring?
No. But also, like, it's okay because I think it's like a slow build thing. I think it's one of those things that you don't need to rush it. You got to build that group. You need to make them like an Avengers level threat. Like, you got to really build them up.
Yeah.
And it takes time to build each one of them as a threat. You can't just chuck out six people and just be like, these guys are all awesome. Like, how do I know that? Like, I don't believe you. Show me. So it's going to take time to make sure that Uncle Howdy, you know, Eric Rowan, Loomis, Nikki Cross, the other one will be all good to go. In time, I think they're going to be the most dominant force in the WWE.
Wow.
Well, they have to be, unless you know, look at you know, 10 years ago at Elimination Chamber when it was the Wyatt family versus the Shield. How that should have been a WrestleMania main event, like Rollins, Ambrose, and Reigns versus Harper, Rowan, and Wyatt was like, oh my God, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I think they've got to get back to that stage if they can, and it's only through good storytelling and making them look strong.
Yeah, okay.
At the moment, they're not there yet, but it's still only been a couple months, barely that.
So it's definitely, you're trying to say that it's a big build-up that these guys need to get to where they are, but so far, the work that they've done in the ring, do you think that it definitely represents, one, the Wyatt Creepy 6, and two, do you think it also represents what Bray Wyatt may have done? Yeah,
definitely. I think so. Yeah. I think that he'd be super proud of what Uncle Howdy's been able to do. And I think that was his creation, and they were obviously going to run with that at some point. And for him to take it off and just run with it as best he can and really get other people involved that fit that mold, I think is a good move.
Yeah.
And I think that they'll be all right. They're going to put in the work and they're going to be fine. It's just that, They are creepy, but you can only do creepy for so long.
For so long, yes.
You've got to be threatening. You've got to be scary.
Yep.
Chad Gable's done a really good job at like being scared, but also like trying to put up a bit of a fight and getting his other American-made boys to give him a bit of a hand.
Yeah.
And I think that having those like faction matches where you do like 3-on-3 with like one on the outside sort of thing, they work. They're really good because you can always do something different with them. You can sub one out. You know, like you did with like the Shield and stuff. They would always have different sort of style matches. So yeah, I think they'll be okay. I think they've just got to put in the work. It's just time. Time's just going to be the thing that tells us, you know, by Mania time or even this time next year, then we'll be going like, wow, the Wyatt 6, like this is looking good.
Yeah.
And then there might be this other group that comes up. You know, it could be Judgment Day 2.0 or a different bloodline, or it could be something else completely brand new that who knows.
Yes, absolutely. So I do agree with you on some aspects of time is definitely going to show that these guys are going to come out at the same time. But I just feel that the WWE built these guys up to be such a dominant force straight away that they put themselves into a corner of where do we go and what do we do with these guys. So at the same time, once they hit the ring, it sort of gets to the point where if they're not dominant, then why have we put so much emphasis and so much screen time behind the actual creepiness of it type thing? Now, Chad Gable did sell it very, very well. But at the same time, I think we could have got a lot more of someone who could have sold it a little bit better of being more scared at the same time. So the Wyatt 6, even though how fantastic that they are in their, let's call it the cinematic version of the lighting, of the camera angles, of the dry ice smoke that comes out around them, phenomenal. Like, I don't know who's putting all of that type of stuff together, but it is award-winning to me, the camera angles and the shots and everything that they've got. But their in-ring work, I thought could have been elevated to such more of a dominant type of factor where we see these creepy horror movie type of characters that come into it. They should just slaughter any enemy that comes in front of them.
Yeah.
But like you said, how do you then go from creepy to in-ring work is a very, very difficult one. So at the same time, I think WWE put way too much behind these guys for them to just come in and be normal wrestlers, even though that they're superstars and on another level of world entertainment, how good they are. I still think at the same time that they were just hyped up too much to once get in the ring. Their ring work was
The problem was too, though, they brought him in and put him against Gable, and it was like one against 6. And Gable didn't have the American-made thing going yet.
No.
He had the Alpha Academy, but that was like split up just as they went after him.
And I think it was too soon.
So it was too. I agree. I think either you go after somebody else or you get these guys with Gable earlier.
Yeah.
But he was kind of transitioning from good guy over to bad guy, sort of, you know, asshole coach kind of sort of style.
Yeah.
He just needed a little bit more time to sort of get that over a bit more and get these other boys with him, then introduce the Wyatt 6, and it's a bit more of a fair fight. Then when the Wyatt 6 kick their ass, you're like, whoa,
these guys
scary.
are big.
Here we
I see
go.
what you're saying there.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go, I don't want to skip over Chad Gable because I think he deserves more of our time because he is so good.
I love him.
So I do want to go back to the Wyatt 6. So once again, do you believe their debut were as good as the hype that they've got behind them? And then once again, do you believe that Bray Wyatt, of his level that he was at, do you believe that they are then getting up to it or are already there? Because they've already got the platform of The Fiend and Uncle Howdy, so they're trying to play off of what Bray Wyatt has done or was doing. But to me, in my eyes, to try to up The Fiend, you can't. You
No,
can't
and they
up The
don't
Fiend.
have his brain, so they don't
At
know
all.
what he had planned long term.
Yep.
They don't know what other little side characters they were going to do. Maybe Bo Dallas does. Maybe he's got a book of Bray's ideas that we don't know about. I doubt it. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff of his that's been documented that he wanted to do that obviously didn't. Different incarnations of The Fiend, different incarnations of Bray. They're not there yet, but I think you got to give them time, and I think with time they'll figure it out. And if they don't, well then it's just sort of a waste. But I think they'll be okay. They just need to another 6 months of just doing what they're doing, plowing through teams, and you know I think go through American Made, find someone else, like another tag team plus someone else with them, go through them, just keep working your way through, just get to this big threat that's like an unstoppable force, and then you've got to have your Avengers come in and an all-star team has to try and take them out.
And try to take him out.
That's the best way to do it.
That's a great
that's
way
what
to
they
do it.
did. That's what they did with the Wyatt family. That you would have Kane, Daniel Bryan, and Ryback on a team to try and take out the Shield, and like the Wyatt family, similar sort of styles. You'd have to have these all-stars come together and try and take them out, and they couldn't do it. I reckon you've got to do something like that again with these guys.
So it's easy to say that the Wyatt 6 future is only going to look better and better as time goes by?
If they get the correct amount of time given to them.
That's right.
If they move to this 2-hour Raw and they don't have enough time to tell their stories, then they'll be in trouble.
Yeah, they will be in a lot of trouble because I think they're more cinematic than what they are in the ring right now at the present moment. Even if they do give him that 30-second, 40-second snippets of things coming in, it'll still keep him relevant. But if they don't bring the in-ring work to them, to the up level or world class that WWE has, these guys are going to fall off very, very quickly. And to me, like I said, I don't think that they're in level with their cinematic work compared to their in-ring work as of yet. So I
agree with that.
That's just my views. What do you guys think about that? Do you agree? Do you not agree? Wyatt 6 is a huge conversation to have with Bray Wyatt involved. Please leave a comment below on whatever you guys think that you would like to know more about the Wyatt 6 or see more of the Wyatt 6.
Do they need to like win the tag titles, or do they need to take out a certain group of people? Let us know what you think. I can't think of anything right now that they need to do other than just take time to tell their stories, to build their characters. Like, why does Dexter Lumis have like long, blonde dreadlocks now?
I don't.
Is that a throwback because Bray did that, and it's like a piece of him, or you know? And
is it for the
Nikki
mask?
Cross
or...
is like Sister Abigail, but not really.
Well, she's not. She's a superhero. So how does that? I don't really. Yeah.
Is that her alter ego?
Yeah.
Is that her like an evil? Who knows? So the more we learn about them and the more vicious they become over time, I think they'll be okay. I have faith.
All right, okay.
Have faith in them until proven otherwise.
Okay, until proven otherwise. Okay, cool. I like that, Sharpy. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on, guys. So something that I want to ask you about, if I can, Sharpy. So my guy, I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent here, if you don't mind, please. My man, Bron Breakker. I love this guy from NXT. I don't know if any of you guys got behind Bron Breakker, but from the word go, when this guy debuted and he went up against an absolute megastar himself of LA Knight. And he took him out. He absolutely flattened LA Knight, which was something that took me by surprise. I know it took you by surprise, Sharpy, as well. And then we all knew that his backstory was he was a Steiner. So he is Rick Steiner's son. He's coming with the same force as Rick Steiner. He's coming with the same promo work and same speech pattern as Scott Steiner.
As his uncle.
He's basically the two Steiner brothers.
But he's got the speed
put
that they
together,
didn't have.
And more so. So he is ex-NFL, and you can see that the spear that he's got is just so explosive. And I use the word explosive because that comes from Triple H himself in the last Royal Rumble that he was once in. Impressed Triple H himself and the rest of the world of what he did in that Royal Rumble. Now, I always have said, and I've said this plenty of times again, excuse me, Sharpy, I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent. When you bring in a new person, you need to build them up, which they did with Bron Breakker. But once you get that title, and you're after that title, you get that title. Once you get that title, you need to excel that title to new limits, or you break off straight away. They have given Bron Breakker in his rookie year an Intercontinental Championship straight away. He only had 2 defenses of that. Against Sami Zayn, which was an absolute killer match, and I think against Dragunov, which was absolutely stellar because these guys do so much together in NXT before. Then you had Jey Uso, who was entitled to it, don't get me wrong, but has then taken him off the actual, taken him out too quickly, I believe. In my eyes, for my guy, Bron Breakker had such a good year, but why put a title on him so quickly? Why not keep him that unstoppable, dominant force that once he goes against someone with a title, everyone's going to go, oh, this young kid's going to give this guy a run for his money. Why not put him up against LA Knight once again and say, is this young kid going to come in and whoop LA Knight like he did in his debut? But they put him up against Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn never stops from getting up. He keeps on getting up. That's what Sami Zayn is known for. But why would you put a young guy against someone like Sami? So to me...
Well, he also lost the first match against Sami too.
That he did. Yeah, don't get me wrong. But then he figured out Sami, took him out and does what he needs to do. So I'm going to ask you this, Sharpy, in someone who's only coming in their first year, their rookie year, do you believe it's a good idea to put a title on him so quickly? To me, I'm going to say it straight out, no. I didn't like it. He only had it for 2 defenses. I didn't see what was so good about it. Build up his resume a bit more. So when they finally give him a title, he's going to hold on to it longer and not get someone like, no offense to the man, Jey Uso come in and just take him out.
I didn't mind it because he comes from a sporting background and rookies make mistakes. And if it's his rookie year and he comes in and he wins a championship, he thinks he's all that and he underestimates his opponent like he did with Jey and then loses, he's going to learn from that. And I think he's already said to Jey that he's learned from that experience and he's not going to take him lightly again.
Yeah.
I think from a storytelling perspective, I think him as a character, learning from that experience is just going to make him more dangerous in the future.
And I think it's fair to say that Bron Breakker's career is only going to get better and better and better. When you've got people like Paul Heyman behind you, that is basically saying Bron Breakker is the future of WWE. He's only going to get better. That's why, to me, I couldn't understand why they put a title on him so quickly. It's just something like, we'll put a title on you just to build up your resume, but you're not going to have a good run with it. We'll put a title on you to build up your resume, but no, we're not going to give you a couple of months or a couple of years with this title run. We're just going to put it on you real quick, and then you're going to drop it to the next person.
I mean, the problem is, like, we've had Gunther having a 2-year reign, basically.
You can't beat
And then if he loses it in 2 months, we're all sitting there going, hang on. Gunther had it for 2 years, Sami had it for 3 months, and now he's only had it for 2. What's going on here?
I don't get that.
It's weird.
You know? So it's
but at the same time, from a storytelling perspective, I can see what they're trying to do with this character. I think it's only going to make him more dangerous, and he's going to just use it as a learning experience. You know, you look at what he did in NXT with the 2 NXT title wins, and then he had the tag titles at the end with Baron Corbin. I reckon that was a great learning experience for his character as well. I don't know. I just think it's going to work out in the long run, and I rate him so highly. He's such a good wrestler.
So highly.
He's comedically funny.
Yes.
He's just got that explosive power game. He just looks $1 million.
Yep.
I don't think it's going to affect him at all. I think he'll be okay.
And I have heard that when it does go to Netflix, the face of Netflix WWE is going to be Bron Breakker, because they believe that Bron Breakker is very much so... He looks like a WWE superstar.
Well, he looks like $1 million.
He does. He looks like a WWE superstar. It's you got Roman Reigns and then you got Bron Breakker.
Well, Roman will probably still be on SmackDown anyway.
So these are 2 guys that the company's going to get behind. So I'm just going to say, I think I've already asked you this, but I'm going to say it once again. So for Bron Breakker's rookie year, do you think it was a smart move or a silly move to put a title belt on him?
That's hard. I'll go smart move for now.
Yeah.
Again, benefit until proven guilty.
Okay.
But Triple H knows how to book, and I think he'll know what to do with Bron Breakker going forward.
Okay. Well, I think Triple H does know what he's doing, absolutely. I don't want to take down Trips at all, but I think it was a silly move. Because once again, you're chasing the title. Once you get that title, you need to do something. As soon as you lose that title, you need to figure out what you're doing after that. Right now, the present moment, he's gone down. The only thing that I could see him chasing right now was when he came up to Gunther and he looked at Gunther's world title and was just like, I like the look of that, Gunther, and then turned around and walked off. So in saying that, I could go on about Bron Breakker a lot more, guys, because he is my boy, but I think we move on to something
He is your boy,
new.
and I get it. I do understand why you would think that, because... I think it's tough because, yeah, he's still so young, though, and he's got plenty more years ahead of him, and I think that it's just establishing that he can beat anybody on any night. But he's still a rookie. In terms of WWE main roster style stuff, he's still a rookie. And rookies make mistakes, and I think that's just what it's going to be. He talks shit to Jey. Jey's a veteran, and he'll learn from that, and I don't think he'll make that same mistake.
I did like that when he came in and talked smack to Jey, and Jey took his sunnies off and got in his face and was like, listen here, rookie. You want to keep, and I thought that was great how they did that.
Yeah.
It was great because of the simple fact of a veteran who's been in the game for 14 years compared to a guy who only got drafted at the start of the year, whenever it was.
Yep.
It was fantastic that somebody finally stepped up to this young guy and said, listen here, rookie.
Yeah.
And I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah.
Go on about
I
Bron
agree.
Breakker all day long. I really could, guys, because he is my boy. But let's move on if we can right now.
A story that you're a bit sick of at the moment, the Judgment Day.
Judgment
now, they've been
Day.
dominating Raw for the last 2 years. Edge obviously started the group, got kicked out, and where's your head at with it? Have you had enough? Is Dom still the best heel in the business? What's your thoughts? I know you're a bit over it. I'd like to hear from what you.
Well, I am a bit over it for the simple fact of, one, I don't think Finn needs a faction behind him at all to do what he's doing. I think Finn Balor is his own champion in his own right, where he can be a singles superstar still to this day in the many, many things that he's done. Bring back his old theme of the whoa, and the whole crowd gets into it. So I don't think that Finn needs to have anybody else behind him. JD McDonough, I do understand why they've brought him out of NXT to put him up with his mate Finn. But at the same time, JD's held down a lot of matches
we just
by
point out
himself.
how ripped he's got too.
And he looks fantastic. He only put on more and more muscle
JD
since
looks
being
great.
since seeing in the main roster.
Getting the main roster, he looks unreal.
He looks fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't know what they do to the guys when they come into the main roster, but Damian Priest was
something's in the
exactly the same way.
Dude, he was huge, and then he slimmed right down.
He
bulked
slimmed
up.
down and bulked up.
Oh, man.
I mean, you saw him in the press conference today. The bloke's arms could barely even fit into his shirt.
Yeah, true.
So it's fantastic for what he's actually done from the Judgment Day. Damian Priest to go out onto his own. Carlito, for some reason, I think he's a guy that falls short when it comes to the Judgment Day. So they tried to put him into the LWO. It didn't fit. He was getting lost in the mix. So they put him into the Judgment Day. It doesn't really fit. He's kind of getting lost in the mix.
He's had a few good one-liners, especially when the whole Liv Morgan thing started. He just had some real funny one-liners with Dom and stuff. I think that's all he's there for. Is just some.
I think so. He's that comedic relief,
Yeah.
which I don't think is fair because Carlito's been in
Finn's
it.
pretty serious. JD's pretty serious. Dom can have a bit of a joke.
Always,
but,
yeah.
yeah, I know what you mean.
Carlito, I just don't see where he fits in the mix and of how much of a veteran that he is. I think he needs to have some type of a comedic run behind him. I wouldn't say put him with R-Truth, who is the most comedic person, I believe, ever in WWE. But I think he's got a bit more of a funny side comedic run to him, if he can, at the same time, and bring back the old tights and the old puffy hair, which he still has, but a little bit more, and how much he's actually bulked up is just insane as well.
Yeah, we saw him live here, didn't we?
We saw him live here a couple of years ago
A
now.
while ago now. And he was huge. I couldn't
was
believe the
a
size
big
of him.
boy, yeah.
Compared to what he used to be like when he
Yeah.
used to be in WWE.
And he can go. He's got a
He's
lot
good
of ring
wrestler,
work.
and he's got the lineage behind him. He's a second or third generation superstar.
He's got
so
absolutely everything. I
he
think
knows
at
what
one
he's
stage
doing.
he even wrestled Ric Flair. I mean, that sort of
Yeah.
says it all right there, you know? So I think he's getting lost in the mix, which I don't really understand. I think it's about time for Dirty Dom to go out and do his own thing. He is probably, if not the biggest heel, would have to be second,
He has the
third,
most hate. The crowd boos him more than anybody
every
else.
single time. And Finn Balor himself has actually said it, that Dom has got nuclear heat everywhere he goes. I mean, the bloke can't even pick up the microphone without getting
Everyone
booed
booing
out
the
of the
shit out of him.
stadium.
Yeah.
I mean, him with Liv Morgan is working, and I do like it.
But it's more the Rhea Liv story, and Dom's the middle part of it. Once that story ends, and Rhea, the good guys always win. So once Rhea finally wins eventually, yeah, where do you go?
Where do you go? Where do you go? I can see Liv dumping him in some type of a fashion, and then he needs to go off and do his own thing. But even though he goes off and does his own thing, he's still going to be one of the biggest heels in the game. So I think it's time that Dirty Dom does his own thing, and he's only going to get better. He's only going to be an absolute master. He is going to be a megastar one
How quickly
day.
do you pull the trigger? Do you wait till Mania? When do you do it?
I think do it now. I honestly think that
He's ready
Dirty
right
Dom
now?
is that good to do it right now. I think, honestly, next week, if Liv Morgan slaps him in the face and says, we're over, I don't want to be with you at all, and then the next Raw, the next SmackDown, he comes out on his own, they're just going to be like, Liv's gone, but we still hate him. Boo!
Yep.
He's just so good to do that.
Yep.
So, the Judgment Day. We've seen that they're doing stuff with Damian Priest right now at the present moment. Something that I would love for the Judgment Day to do, and I would love for WWE to do, is you touched on that before, is the 3 people that can come in. So you can get Carlito, JD Madonna, and Dom to be in a tag team, if you will.
Yeah.
And I believe WWE should bring in championships. So a tag team, 3 championships. Now, I know the competitive company has got that, but to me, it makes so much sense. Why wouldn't you want to do it? Just off the top of my head, I already know a couple of people that would be good. The New Day, they're 3 people right there.
Bloodline,
they could be 3
6.
people right there. Wyatt 6, they're 3 people right there. So for me, I don't see why WWE wouldn't want to do that.
American made. Yep.
I think it would be good, and I don't see why they wouldn't. And another trio, which I think would be good at winning the championships, good way to segue into this, is Karrion Kross
and the Authors of Pain. What's the... Because that was another one that came in and I thought, okay, here we go. They're going to destroy everybody. This is going to be crazy. Like, Scarlett's going to be the one to sort of... Have they done much? I feel like they came in, they sort of took out a couple of people, and then I haven't seen a lot of them since. Karrion Kross I've seen bits of. I've barely seen the Authors of Pain except for like last week.
They were on last week, yeah.
But other than that, where have they been?
I think that's the worst part, because Karrion Kross got caught up with the New Day type thing, but the emphasis wasn't over Karrion Kross trying to get into Xavier Woods' heads.
Mess with them.
He's just not actually like in the ring. Now, I think we're taking too much away from Karrion Kross for what he's done in the past. I mean, the guy was NXT champion, I think, for nearly 2 years there.
For a while. It was a while anyway, and then he got injured. He did that, was it a pec or a tricep, or he hurt an arm,
But he was a dominant force, shaved head, big fella compared to the rest of the NXT. I mean, he was around the time of Adam Cole, so sort of the guys that are a little bit smaller. His entrance was just phenomenal.
Yeah,
Comes into the music, beats on his chest. Yeah. He's got his hot wife that springs up between his legs, and she's there hanging off of his arm. Yeah. He was just money. To me, everyththing that he did in NXT was money. The way that he talks, the way that he goes in, it's just crazy. Yeah. He comes into the main roster underneath Vince McMahon, and they put straps on him and put a mask on him, and they just lost him. He ended up losing his job and then coming back underneath Triple H. He was a Triple H guy because, once again, NXT was Triple H's. Now that he's come back into the main roster, where does he fit? What does he do? I like Karrion Kross. I want to get behind him, but now, in the moment, he's getting lost in the shuffle. So I'm asking you, Sharpy, what do you think would be really, really good for Karrion Kross to then be a main eventer?
I think it's build that thing, like build the trio up. So get the Authors of Pain like going in the tag division, or if you're going to do the trios, that's fine, like Alpha Academy or American Made or whatever it is. That would be a dream for those 2 teams to go against each other. Do a best of 7 series. Let these 2 teams, again, we just saw it with Andrade and Mello.
Yeah.
How good they can wrestle.
Yep.
Put these 2 big powerhouse teams like Cross versus Gable. That sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah.
And then you've got the 2 big boys from American Made and the Authors of Pain as well. I don't know, there's a lot of options there, and that's just 2 sets of teams. You can throw in a bunch of... If Big E comes back and you got the New Day...
Wow.
There's another big dude that can go up against him. Sort of thing. So, again, like, build them up, give them time, let the writing sort of play itself out. I don't have high hopes for it. I just think that the corruption sort of style thing is like a little too similar to like the Wyatt 6.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know if that's going to work long term. If they just turn into like a bunch of badasses that just go out and annihilate people, then like fair enough. Mm-hmm. There's already other dudes doing that. So I don't know. I don't know long term.
Yep.
And I don't really know what his character is that well.
Yeah.
Like, I liked NXT Cross, like you said.
Absolutely.
Bald head, cool kind of entrance.
Yep.
Like, yeah, Scarlett hanging off him, like just
Big
going out,
powerhouse of a
smashing
dude,
small dudes. Like,
just yelling. Yep.
I don't know. I'm less optimistic on this one.
So I do agree with some of what you said just then, but what I believe the best thing for AOP would be to do is go back to NXT. Give them the NXT Tag Team Championships and make them powerhouses. Now, I want to see them go against guys like the Good Brothers. I want to see them go up against guys like Gallows and just absolutely flatten him.
Yeah.
Because these two boys are huge, absolutely huge gentlemen. I want these guys to be powerhouses, tag team champions, where it's an extent where people are like scared to go against these guys. So you see them on the other side of the ring.
Like the Miz with Bronson Reed when Truth was like, "Oh, I got your match with Bronson."
Yeah.
And he was like, no,
Yeah,
really?
what are you
like that
doing?
Kind of thing. You're going to get me killed.
Yeah. So I want guys to be across the ring from AOP and stand there like, what am I doing? These guys are absolutely huge, and give them a run of minimum of 6 months and say to them, listen, guys, we've given you the second chance now. You've been with Seth Rollins, top megastar in the actual company. You didn't stand out an awful lot, but we didn't give you a lot of time. We're giving you the time. We're giving you the platform
most of it.
like NXT do. So now it's just sitting there like, you guys impress us and do something. Don't be big. Don't be slow. Don't be like, be powerhouses, but impress us with what you've got.
Be like the UFC style fighters that you look like. You look like killers. Go out there and smash people.
Absolutely. Like, I want to see a big body slam for you guys, but both of you guys pick someone up and then at the same time press them once and then slam them down. So it's going to be when a move happens to everybody else that's versing them, everyone's on their seat like, oh, that would have hurt. And even the opponent is in the ring. Now, going on to Karrion Kross, I believe that Karrion Kross, he's done his time. Karrion Kross did 2 years in NXT as a dominant force. He got injured. He does what he is needed to do to then have his time. I think for Karrion Kross, shave the dude's head, have everybody come out with Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross then does a Triple H and says, I don't need you guys anymore. Like DX, I appreciate you guys. I respect you guys, but I'm doing me now.
I don't need you
AOP and whoever their manager is, catch you later. Have a little bit of a weird moment between him and Scarlett or whatever. As Scarlett leaves, grab her wrist, pull her back in. Nah, you're my girl. You're sticking by me. I'm going to stand out and I'm going to challenge the best of the best to show you guys I'm the best of the best. Karrion Kross stands there and calls out Roman Reigns. I think Karrion Kross needs a huge opponent to go against him. I think Karrion Kross needs someone like Roman Reigns, KO, Randy Orton, Gunther, Seth Rollins. I think that Karrion Kross needs a big push to show us what we've got, to show us what he can do. Triple H is going to say, I've given you everything that you need to have for a main event. You impress me or you're gone. And I literally mean gone. I never like Triple H, WWE, or the industry sacking people or getting rid of people at all. I believe there should be something like a legendary contract where they'll come back once every now and again. It's either Karrion Kross, you show us what you can do with the top superstar, otherwise you're going.
Wow, all in on that one. That's a fair shout. I don't know if he can go straight to Roman. I think he needs to maybe even like Bron Breakker or take on like Braun Strowman, take on Bronson Reed, take on these big dudes, put them down, and then work your way up to Gunther. And...
Straight to the top. Straight to the top. KO, Seth Rollins, everything like that.
Those
so
I'm
KO,
fine not to Roman.
KO comes
Roman's
out.
Too high.
KO comes out and KO says, who even are you? I don't even know who you are. Why are you calling me out here? And then show us what you can do.
I like it.
That's my predictions. That's something I'm throwing out there. And I like Karrion Kross. I'm getting behind him. I want the best of what he can do. Guys, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, I can see Sharpy's very on the edge of what he's going to do right now.
I disagree.
Chuck a comment down below. Thanks, Sharpy. Chuck a comment down below. Am I just talking a whole bunch of poop here, guys? Or do you agree with me that Karrion Kross may have something right there?
All right. Thank you for watching, guys. That has been our half an hour. We will see you guys in the next episode. Hopefully, you do disagree with Ray and go with me because I'm always bang on.
Cool.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
WrestleChats with Sharpy and Ray.